Claude has just unveiled a revolutionary new feature, access to all your meetings and emails. Every request with Claude starts the same day. You give it some context, send your report or your meeting transcript, and then you can start querying your AI. But let's be honest, this process is time-consuming. You waste time, and very often the context is incomplete. And the good news is, all of that is over thanks to Claude's new MVP feature. Claude can now extract and analyze your meeting notes. And this has changed 3 things for me, but especially one in particular. But first, let's take a look together at the workflow I've been using with Claude for over a year. Basically, I record all my meetings with Noota, and my notes show up in my app just a few minutes after the meeting. So to analyze each of my meetings with Claude, I get the transcript directly from Noota and paste it into Claude. I add as many details as possible to provide context. Who were the participants? What were the objectives of the meeting? What decisions were made? Which ones still need to be made? In short, it's a pretty time-consuming process, not that I'm complaining. And AI is already amazing as it is, but it can be a real hassle when you think about the number of weekly meetings we have. Personally, I have about 15 to 20 meetings a week, and I have to repeat this process almost every time. So it ends up being a lot of extra work. Claude now has access to the source of my data, and what really changes the game is the connector with Noota. Noota is the AI meeting assistant I use every day. It integrates with all my video calls or just runs in the background. It records, generates transcripts, and saves all my data in a secure European space. So Noota turned out to be really useful for keeping track of all my professional interactions, kind of like an assistant who follows you to every meeting to take notes and lets you review them later. But the meeting context already existed in Noota. So now, with this connector, we'll be able to read and analyze all the existing data in your conversations. The principle is pretty simple. Noota stores the meeting data while Claude reads it. So now all you have to do is ask for what you need. Setup only takes 2 clicks. Open Claude, then in your settings, click on Connector, then Customize. Claude opens this page. Click on More, then Add Custom Connector. Here, you enter the name Noota as well as the MCP link, and then click Add. And there you go, your AI meeting assistant is now connected to Claude, and you'll be able to ask it anything you want. And with the connector enabled, you can talk to Claude just like you normally would. And I can also fine-tune exactly how I want Claude to retrieve my meeting information. And now that the connection is set up, I can go ahead and ask Claude in a new chat to summarize my last 3 meetings. And as you can see, thanks to the connector, Claude pulled all my meeting data directly from Noota. In just a few seconds, Claude generated a very thorough summary of my last 3 meetings, a client discovery, a follow-up call, and finally an internal meeting. So this is exactly the kind of summary that would have taken me at least 20 minutes just to find the right information and format it. Now I can ask Claude about any topic related to my meetings, and he'll be able to handle it in just a few seconds. And here's a use case that surprised me, something I hadn't thought of at all at first, but now I use it after every call. After every meeting, I ask Claude to coach me, whether it's sales meetings, team meetings, or whatever. I ask Claude to share his expertise on how I conducted my meeting and what aspects I could have improved. So, for example, in my last discovery call with a client, Claude gave me coaching in his expertise by telling me that maybe I talked about pricing a little too early and that this point could have been brought up later. That was also the case for my follow-up call and the team meeting I had. The power of the connector between Claude and Noota goes far beyond just summarizing your meetings. Claude can listen to you after each of your conversations and help you make the best decisions. By the way, we've created an extremely detailed guide for sales teams who use Claude for their meetings. I encourage you to download it. It's available in the description. In the end, I didn't just use Claude to summarize my meetings. I go way beyond that by asking Claude to coach me on each of these meetings and every decision I make. So Claude can listen to my meetings and pick out even the smallest details. I can ask it any questions I want. It integrates directly into my workflow, and it's pretty amazing. Honestly, it's life-changing for me. I think that every day I must save at least an hour on processing my meetings and on the follow-ups I need to do. And you can actually ask any specific question you want. For example, here, what did we decide about pricing? So here, Claude will go look through all my Noota meetings. It can even cross-reference meetings, by the way. It won't just rely on one meeting, but on several, and in just a few seconds, it'll give me a very detailed answer about the decisions made regarding pricing. And what's great is that you can do this with any video recorded with Noota. So let's take a step back and talk about your meeting notes. No more need to bring pens and paper with the Noota app. For that, the first step is to ask Noota to record all your conversations, your video calls, your in-person meetings, and even your phone calls. And just with that, you get an ultra-detailed AI report with the different topics discussed and the action plan for each member of the meeting. You can also access a transcript and even custom-generated video clips. And just that alone is a significant time saver for you, even if up until now these meeting notes were just archives. You record them, they stay there, maybe you read them over once, but that's about it. And actually, I also realized personally that I almost never reread my meeting notes. But now, these meeting notes are no longer just archives. They're a real goldmine. Claude can now search through them, coach you, and even find the tiniest details from each of your conversations. So I spent years copying and pasting my transcripts into Claude. I'll never do that again. You'll find the link in the description to connect Noota to all your meetings, as well as the complete guide to set up your Claude and Noota connector. And if you enjoy videos about AI productivity, feel free to subscribe and like. Thank you so much, and see you soon.